So I've been incredibly irresponsible about camera-related purchases this year. After going through a whole huge thing, having to pay off debt, whatever, I came into some additional money and was trying to make responsible decisions and kind of spiraled. And I have my latest camera that is a main camera swap come in. Why every time I record does my phone go off? I have what is supposed to be my new main camera just arrived. And so I wanted to use this opportunity both to unbox it and to talk about the other cameras that I've kind of inadvertently picked up along the way. Where the fuck did I just set the Fuji? So a dilemma that I had faced and was trying to solve was that my primary camera, the Canon R5C, I was rigging it up regularly for videos because it was my main camera for shooting main channel videos, which meant a cage and attachments and all sorts of video related things. And then when I wanted to go shoot photos, it was a whole hassle to tear it down and take it with me, and it became a problem. And I wound up picking up a Canon R6 to go with it, but I really did not like the Canon R6. It had a lot of performance related issues that just felt subpar compared to my R5C. And I used it, it was fine, I got decent pictures out of it, but especially when it came to trying to use it as a B cam for video, it just did not hold up. I wanted something smaller to take with me, where I'd still take my big Canon camera with me when I wanted to take like super professional pictures or something with all of my extra lenses, but I wanted something smaller to take with me. I had placed a pre-order on this bad boy, the Fuji X100VI. The dream camera. I finally got an in-stock notification and went for it. Despite getting that notification, it got put on back order. My plan was to cancel that, and instead I talked myself into picking up the bigger brother, the GFX 100RF, the 100 megapixel GFX medium format sensor line rangefinder portable camera. Bought this, received it, started using it. I love this camera for the most part. I don't like the native 4x3 sensor for photos. As much as I love and produce 4x3 videos, for photos it just doesn't ever seem to feel right. And I would rather have a 3x2 sensor. It's a weird thing. So I mostly shoot it with it has the aspect ratio control dial. I've taken some, CinemaScope super wide pictures with it, but I mostly shoot in 1x1 square. It's pretty great. I got a flash attachment for it. I got a nice little carrying thing for it. I get some really good pictures out of it. I still find the entire film simulation side of Fuji stuff to be completely whack. I'm shooting raw photos and edit them in Lightroom. The film simulations, even the custom ones, are rarely one size fits all, and trying to juggle those on the fly is just a nightmare. I like this. I had to really tweak the dynamic range settings to really get it where I wanted, especially since, even though in medium format it's fine, the minimum aperture here is f4, and there's no image stabilization, so I can't shoot any lower than 1/60th, sometimes 1/30th shutter speed. So, got to play with it to really get the most out of it, but that's what the onboard flash is for. It makes it feel really old school in that regard. But a couple months after that, I'd forgotten to cancel my pre-order for the X100VI, my pre-order. It's been released for a while, and wound up receiving this. And it has the flash built in, it's smaller, it has an f2 wider aperture option, and in-body image stabilization. The problem is, it is significantly more cropped in. I'm going from medium format, which is bigger than full frame, to APS-C, which is a significant jump. I am used to full frame in general. The operating system on here is slower, the shutter preview is laggier. Again, I'm not huge on the film presets. I just find this to feel too cheap of an experience. It feels like using a standard Digicam, but without that era's looks and feel to it. I have tried and tried and tried, and I do not like this camera. So I'm going to be selling it. I've taken less than like 50 photos with it. Brand new, basically. I'm going to be selling this with the thumb grip. Get the money back. The whole reason I'm talking about this is because I really want to talk about the cameras I use and share my thoughts on them. But I'm so burned out on the format of making dedicated gear reviews and camera reviews. And I think in terms of philosophically, the scene is kind of not where it used to be. And that's a good thing. It needs to be about the art of making, which is why I'm talking about my feelings with these things. Along the way this year, I've also been borrowing from Canon the C80. I did not purchase this. This is a cinema line that's kind of like a sidestep / a pseudo downgrade from my R5C, but it's in a beefier cinema body, so it's got more long-running video kind of capabilities. This thing's been pretty rad. It's a downgrade in image resolution. I can only do 6K 30 raw video or 4K 60 HEVC, whereas my R5C can do 8K 60 raw video. Not a huge deal there. Still a lot of fun, still full frame. Been shooting most of my videos this year with it. I've loved it, other than a couple of those kind of limitations. But it doesn't do open gate, and I'm like obsessed with open gate now because I'm making everything in 4x3. I want that extra field of view from my lenses, which informs the new camera I picked up here, the Canon C50, which is actually cheaper than the C80, is basically a replacement if you were buying the R5C. I've been borrowing the C80 from Canon. It was supposed to be for a review. I've kept it way longer than intended because of that mentioned burnout with regards to gear coverage. Oh, this thing is so tiny by comparison. This thing is the near perfect camera for me. It is basically the R5C, a little chunkier for video. It has still 8K 60 video, I believe, but also open gate raw video. It's missing image stabilization, which the R5C also doesn't have, but it's also missing built-in ND filters that the C80 has. I wish it were bigger and bulkier a little bit to have that, because to me that is a wonderful benefit. I can get around it. I honestly don't do that much outdoor shooting, so it's fine, but like I would prefer to have it. This thing is gorgeous. That's full frame sensor. I basically only did this upgrade because I said repeatedly in all my reviews recently that if Canon put out an R5C with open gate, I'd buy it. I want to shoot. This will do 3x2 open gate. I want to shoot 4x3 videos. It'll get me as close to native 4x3 as I can get while still using the upper range of my sensor. I'll make some videos showing how that effect actually plays out with some of my lenses, because obviously with most of my videos I'm just cropping to 4x3, and that's fine, but I'm not getting the full size sensor, which for some of the lenses produces some really beautiful optical effects that I can only get in photos and can't get in video because it's still cropping vertically off of that sensor. And so I really wanted to get that. So this is still using the E6P batteries that my R5C does, but gets supposedly significantly better battery life. And the big benefit of the C50 here over the C80, for me at least, is it has a dual card slot that does SD and CF Express. When I first got into CF Express, I thought it was highway robbery. Getting V90 SD cards in big in big storage sizes is actually significantly more expensive than the CF cards now. And the C80 only takes SD cards. And so I've been really stuck with recording capacity there. So being able to use my beefy 512 gig CF card both unlocks longer record times and the higher resolution and bitrate raw options. So super stoked to be playing with this. So I got both the Fuji X106, that is obviously Instagram and Reddit's favorite toy, and the GFX model. I don't like this at all. I understand plenty of people take beautiful photos with this and get amazing shots, and clearly it's a capable tool, and if it was the only camera I had, I probably wouldn't complain. But when I'm spoiled for riches here, I have an embarrassment of riches in terms of cameras at the moment that I have access to through reviews and what I've stupidly, irresponsibly, don't be like me, purchased, the GFX is just better in every capacity, which no one should be surprised by. It's double the price. Whole different camera line. I also invested when I started making cooking videos in a new GoPro. This is the GoPro Hero 13 Black. I've got the macro lens on it as well. GoPro's action cams and 360 cams are the only camera lineup at this point that I feel FOMO for, because every time there's a new model, there are so many limitations with the quality and overall capacity that you get out of this style camera that every time I go to use one, and I know there's like 5 generations of new ones since I've upgraded last, I find myself itching for the new one because there's so much of a disparity every 2 years because they have so much room to grow in terms of quality. I've been pretty happy with this one for my cooking videos. It still has that GoPro look. The compression is still not entirely where I'd want it for really fast-paced scenes. And then they have like GoPro Log, and the same thing with Insta360. Insta360 has their own log profiles, but there's no conversion pipeline. I can't take log video out of these things and convert it to DaVinci Wide Gamut and then do proper color grading on it. It just doesn't exist. All you get is a pre-baked LUT from the manufacturer that converts it back to Rec 709, which is not super useful for me. It's been great for the cooking videos, just having it super small, easy, throw it up. I use the 4x3 mode on it, which gets me easy vertical and horizontal videos. Not much to say there. I'm glad I got it. It's way better than the Hero 6 Blacks that I have or the DJI Osmo Action 1. Way better in that regard in terms of just total image quality. And the macro lens for getting like right up on my food shots has been great. The C80's going back to Canon. I'm keeping the GFX 100 RF. That is the camera I take with me basically every day. If I go somewhere, I'm taking this with me so I have the opportunity to shoot. I know, I'm talking about buying all these things. I get it. But last year I picked up the iPhone 16 Pro. I finally justified it to myself. I was still on an iPhone 11. I don't do phone upgrades, whatever, but I had justified it to myself that with the ProRes capability, the Apple Log capabilities, I would use this more in my video. And I've tried 3 different ecosystems of like grips and external SSDs and whatever with the Blackmagic camera app, which supports OpenGate, by the way, now, which is fantastic, to use this in my videos. And I just can't stand it. I cannot stand the video out of this iPhone. And I understand, again, tons of people make beautiful works with it. For the life of me, even when I lock white balance to 5600K like I do all my other cameras, color tune it in post, I cannot get proper skin tones out of this thing. I can get the colors looking beautiful in general, but if I show up on camera, and I understand I'm this weird pale monstrosity, my skin does not look right in here compared to every other, even the GoPro that I use. Every other camera, I can get it at least close enough. I'm always really frustrated with how I look in the videos from this. Photo-wise, it's been great. I really appreciated it last year. Like, we went to a bunch of fall festivals for my kiddos' fall breaks and things like that. And like being able to just quickly pop it up with the camera button is awesome. And then the 5x zoom to just quickly get shots when he's like really far away. Like I got one when he was on a Ferris wheel and things like that, that I couldn't easily get when I'm carrying around. At the time, it was an X Pro 3. But, you know, a camera that doesn't have a whole lot of zoom capabilities. Phenomenal tool. But the photos, even in all of the fancy apps that bypass the iPhone processing and stuff, it's still a phone photo. I'm not a fan of it. I appreciate the flexibility it gives. That's why it's in my pocket all the time, and I use it for that. But, like, I'm just going to use a dedicated camera. So, GFX goes with me everywhere. Fuji, I'm selling. If you're interested in buying it, it's only going to be slightly discounted from new price, both because they're so scarce. Like, just having availability is great, but also I've barely touched it. I've taken, like I said, less than 100 photos for sure with it. I've only taken a few videos, and I'm just like, yeah, it's whatever. It will have the thumb grip. It'll have all the original packaging and everything with it. And then my new main camera will be this bad boy, the C50 for OpenGate, so I can get closer to native 4:3 video, play around with some anamorphic, and so that I can, I don't know, have fun with it. I will be selling the R6 and probably keeping the R5C as my backup. I may sell the R5C too. Like, these days, I don't do as complex video stuff as I've burned out here. I also have an A6400 that's coming in, and my GH5S. So, like, I'm spoiled for cameras. I may sell the R5C too, because this is technically still a photo and video camera. It's a cinema line camera, but it is truly an evolution of the R5C. So it still has the photo video switch. It doesn't take, I don't remember the exact resolution. It doesn't take the full 45 megapixel stills, but it's still plenty high res, and like, so I may just sell off the R5C. We'll see. Yeah, just wanted to talk about the cameras I've used in 2025. Like I said, I'm so burned out on gear reviews that I don't feel like doing hardcore coverage, and I don't think doing gear reviews is healthy anymore, both as the creator and as the audience to see it. I just think it takes too much away from the craft and the art. And so I prefer doing this more casual approach where I'm talking about how everything feels to use rather than all the technical specs and wow you there. So let me know what your thoughts are. This is a longer video. I don't typically do these longer on this channel at the moment, but the response to my last couple janky Windows XP era videos have been stellar. So let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Let me know what your cameras have been like this year. And remember to be kind, rewind. Okay. Studio Cat has to make an appearance. She loves it when I sit here, so she can just climb in my lap.